Hey guys, do you know what time it is?
It's showtime.
It's showtime. Wow, I love that.
I'm impressed.
Very cool.
All right. Well, I am so excited to have you guys here. This is the cast of Hybrid Hazards Revelations 2. And I will let you guys introduce yourselves. So we will start with Maria. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi there, guys. My name is Maria, and I'm a mother, a martial artist, a dancer, and I don't know.
You're a lot of things, yes. And
So,
you are also a weapons master. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Jesse, introduce yourself.
I'm Jesse Choi, sometimes actor, sometimes so-so writer, all of the time hot mess.
that's a good one.
I love it. And another Long Island hustler, Isabella.
Hi, everyone. My name is Isabella Francine Craven. I guess we'll just start off from the beginning. I'm a dancer. I do classical ballet and classic jazz. I'm in college right now, so I'm trying to balance it all out. And I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. And I'm so excited to be here with you guys. We filmed last Sunday. We filmed Hybrid Hazards Revelations, and we were using weapons, and I wanted to get you guys all together because you guys seem to know a lot about, well, maybe not me and Isabella so much, but the two of you seem to know a lot about weapons. So I wanted you guys to, first of all, tell us a little bit about your favorite scene in a movie with weapons. And who wants to go first, Maria or Jesse? I'll pick one of you first since you're...
I don't know, Jesse. Do you have the same?
I'm unsure. You name yours, but
Go ahead. Maria first.
Okay. Well, so I have to say I'm not really into violence, but with that being said, I do appreciate a lot of the scenes from different movies because the speed, the sound of the weapons cutting through the air, the sound effects are awesome. That's like really kind of hooks me. And again, go ahead.
You mentioned, yes, and I agree with you about the violence. I'm not big on watching violence so much in movies, but the artistry of the weapon use, I can definitely appreciate. You had mentioned Kill Bill. Yeah. And there's an opening knife scene. Has anybody seen, Jesse, have you seen this? Kill Bill opening
I've
knife
seen the sword fight. I haven't seen the knife scene.
Okay.
There's a couple of knife scenes, right? But there's one knife scene in there that's so violent. But between the two. But it's really pretty cool. And the sound effects are all from the breaking up of the glass.
Somebody's got a lot of noise going on. So I'm going to mute. Yeah, it was Isabella. Isabella. So I'm going to keep you on mute till yeah. So the knife scenes and also Rambo, right?
Yeah, and then there's the hunted in the jungle, and that's really super cool with Tommy Lee Jones. And it's real. Like when I look at it, it's real. It's what I've practiced or what I've learned in my martial art classes. So that's what's also so like gripping, because oh, I know that move, or that's, they get on the ground and they do some martial art techniques like groundwork, like MMA moves, or
Yeah.
it's really cool. Like they are rolling on the ground, they have to shrimp to get out of the position, and they're fighting with one knife, and they're both struggling over the knife at some point. So yeah, it's cool because it looks so real, and that's what's great about their acting, right?
Yeah, and that shows their coordination, and it really reminds me of dancing in so many ways. And it took me many, many years to fully appreciate that, because I was like, no violence, no violence. But then when you really look at it from a different perspective, and where it's come from, the history of each, I want to talk, Jesse. Well, let's hear your favorite movie weapon fight.
Favorite movie weapon fight? I think it comes down to how you want to use them, because you guys kind of went to this. Weapons are kind of like, using them is a bit of an art form in itself, because it's the very simplistic use X to hurt someone, but how they're actually used in like a story perspective kind of is like huge. Like in Russell Crowe's Gladiator, it's the weapons are obviously, they're just ordinary people in old style armor. It's everything feels lethal. It's nowadays, if someone pulled up on you with like a bow and arrow, you might laugh a little. Like, yeah, obviously, if you're unarmed and they got a bow, that's probably a bad situation. But it's just like, oh, what are you gonna Robin Hood me? Like, what are you gonna do? But there, it feels deadly. They kind of put back in that, nope, this is that era. This is where this stuff exists, and it's still gonna hurt. But also contrast with something like minor spoilers for the movie Deadpool, where towards the end they're gearing up for this big fight, and Deadpool takes out this duffel bag, this Hello Kitty backpack actually,
Really?
and says, I need all of your guns. And it's just him and all his friends like dressing down for a solid 5 minutes, and just guns of every variety. And at the end, he just looks in the bag and says, I said all of them. And his roommate, who's like this old grandma type woman, pulls out this little Derringer type thing on an ankle holster, and then reluctantly gives it to him. And then he leaves the bag in the car. So that's like, it was used to kind of build up tension, but also create that release. So I think it's a bit of a
And 5 minutes after working with you guys and watching it, and then watching the raw footage, 5 minutes is a really long time to keep going. When you look at boxing and things like that, what's like a round in boxing? It could go from anywhere, right? But is there like a time? There's like a time limit, right?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. You would think 3 minutes is a long time.
And it seems like when, to the spectator, like, oh, it's only 3 minutes. What's 3 minutes? Or like a wrestling match, if you ever go see a wrestling match, 3 minutes, they're gassing out at 3 minutes. They're just on top of each other, and they're using all their adrenaline and all their might, to get someone off of them. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, so ballroom dancing, we get minute 45. So we think that's a lot. Each
dance, time we're like
5 dances in a row, though.
5 dances in a row.
But you always think, oh, I just have to make it through this amount of time. When you're doing over and over again, you just have to make it through. But watching and also getting to participate with you guys, I realized how quick, how long that period of time is. Isabella, do you have a favorite movie?
With weapons, I don't watch a whole lot of action movies, to be honest.
How did I know that?
I don't really like, I couldn't.
Let me ask you this. You watched Maria and Jesse. Well, me and Maria too, but you watched Maria and Jesse. I thought that was, when I watched the footage playback. Wow. What did you think when you were watching? Was it like real, or was it like, it's just Maria and Jesse messing around?
So I'm going to start out. So Maria was talking about in the action movies or violence movies she likes to watch, she likes the sound effects. Obviously, I could really tell because when I was watching it, like I could hear her like sound effects. Like we originally thought it was just like the whooshing of the air with the knife or the sword or whatever that was. But I think a lot of it, like she was just like coming from like her, like making the sounds of like grunting and like you could hear it, and I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, well, it was actually a combination because I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, too. Maria. The footage, a lot of what's going to happen is there's going to be sound added as far as guttural growling, things like that. That's all added. But that day, and also in the raw footage, you hear the wind going by the swishing of both Jesse and Maria's weapons and toward each other. And I thought it was really brave of the both of you to really kind of go on attack. Like, Jesse, you were so committed, and at the same time very mindful of the fact that you could actually hurt each other. And Maria was like, not the same thing. Like, okay. At one point I had to move because I was afraid that Jesse was like going to fall off the cliff. I was like, I'm going to like make sure, but I know you guys knew that there was a cliff there, but I was like, what if they get really caught up? Because I thought you guys were so caught up. I was like literally moving. I'm like, I don't care if I'm in the shot right now. I don't want Jesse to fall off.
I did notice that too. I was just like, oh my gosh, they're going to fall.
Jesse, did you realize cliff over there?
Probably. I kind of did. Would it be weird if I said that wasn't the first time that happened?
What, that you've fallen off a cliff?
No, that I was in a circumstance with weapons where I almost fell off the back of a cliff end.
It might be a little
Then I would have fallen into a river. Actually, it was
what was this other circumstance?
It was all right, so small amount of context. I do a fantasy anachronism in my spare time, which is essentially reenactment minus any historical precedent, so more an excuse to get together and throw down with medieval weaponry. And there is a event going on at this place called Cannibal Lake, and I was thoroughly convinced that Cannibal Lake was just a name. So I go down, and what do you know, cannibals. I got surrounded.
Where?
Where?
What do you mean, for real?
There was like this little. It's hosted at a It's actually hosted at a campsite that goes unused. So there's this area with like this little dock, and there's this hilled area. So I just take a moment down. I'm sitting on this little watchtower, just sort of getting a view of the surroundings, looking over the lake. It's midday, sun's in the sky, looks absolutely beautiful. And just behind me, I hear, "What do you eat?" And I turn around, and there's just these people in just rags with blood on their faces, just like, and I turn around, I'm just, rice? Okay, grain-fed, we can deal with that. And it's just, oh, well, this is lovely.
Wait, is this on Long Island?
It is in Connecticut, unfortunately. That is...
Unfortunately?
Unfortunately. I say unfortunately. It makes for a... Look, I could start telling stories. We are going to be here for a while.
Oh my God, we need to do a show just on that.
I'm just going to say I've never heard that before. That is just a little...
It is.
Most of the stories that Jesse tells are ones that we've never heard of before.
To be fair, this happened relatively recently. So
maybe it's like a reenactment kind of thing.
Yeah, like a reenactment, event type thing. That's where the phrase anachronism comes from, that if it's not 100% accurate, it's considered anachronistic, if that makes any sense.
Because it's not real. 100% real.
Yeah, basically. Like if
I hope not.
Because there's people that's just like, no, your pants do not have the proper thread count, it is not reenactment. So then they just say anachronism.
Wow.
And that leads into its own rabbit hole, because, well, if you're not playing by the rules, what can you throw in for fun?
Oh boy.
You learn something new every day.
That's for sure.
I know something. I just know the weird. I think that's just my role in all this.
I love it. I love it. And I will take this opportunity. I'm going to show you guys actually a clip, and I want you guys to comment on it. These are little spoilers from Hybrid Hazards Revelations. these are not the final cuts, but the raw footage. I'm going to show you guys the empty hand first. So,
Talk to him.
Get out! Hey!
Jesus Christ!
That's right. You better stay away.
all right, so that was me and Maria. She kicked my butt. Yeah, I don't know why I keep setting up. I actually we're going to have a showdown, by the way. Our characters are going to have a showdown. So I am coming back to your house. When you guys saw that, what'd you think? Were you happy to watch us beat each other up? Isabella.
I'm not gonna lie, it was just fun to watch. It's like, oh, cool, violence. Which probably isn't a normal reaction, but it was just it was fascinating.
Good. I want it to be awesome.
I wasn't really expecting. I wasn't expecting all of that, so it was definitely like very. What's the word? I don't know. Not like. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it was. Let's just say very interesting. Like, surprised. I was like captivated. I was like, I didn't know it was going to turn into this like whole big thing. And they're moving to like different areas using all these like crazy weapons. I thought it was just going to be like a little tiny little sword that we had in the other clip, but it was like these big like swords, and they looked old. And I was like, what?
Yeah, that was just our empty hand. And see, like with Maria, like I love the fact that, and this is what I liked about watching Maria and Jesse, is that you guys are really skilled. So with Maria, it was quite easy because I know that she knows what she's doing, and yet she knows so much. Like when someone's really skilled, you know that they know how to not hurt you as well. She knows how to hurt, and she knows how to not hurt because she's been doing this, like 20 plus years, I think. Am I right?
15.
Okay. Yeah. So I know, like, when she flips you to the floor, like you have to go, but she's doing it in a way like you're going to go, but I'm not going to hurt you. So, which was great. So I love it. How did it feel to knock me down to the floor some 10 or 15 times?
It's fun.
Because we did rehearse.
We rehearsed.
And she must have knocked me down to the floor 7 different ways. I'm like, can we, because me, I'm like you, Isabella, when it comes to choreography. I'm like, can we do it the same way we did? I like the other way because I can flip. And every time it was different.
Like, I don't know what I did because it's just more so instinctual to just go with whatever's closest, grab with whatever is closest. And yeah.
So now I have 2 more clips. Let me show you. Here, Maria's character chases my character, Megan Florentino, in an upcoming episode of Hybrid Hazards Revelation.
I think this is going to end.
Stick fighting is used in a variety of martial arts, and it is usually a wooden stick handheld.
Yeah,
So, did you hear Alexis at the end? Oh, you've had enough? Like, how long were we sword fighting for, people?
A long time. It was a long time.
A while.
Yeah.
I was like,
And he's like,
and
he's like, did you have enough? Oh my God.
you're like, wow, these sticks are heavy.
Yes, and I didn't fully understand because we have, I don't know, like 100 sticks in the studio. You guys know, Jesse, you used one in a couple of other episodes. You just took it out in the Hybrid Hazards original. And I didn't realize Maria kept saying, why are you bringing the heavy sticks? I was like, I don't know. They didn't seem heavy until you start trying to somebody with them. You're like, oh, now I see what she's talking about. But talk to me about swords and knives a little bit, Jesse.
Oh boy.
Like,
I mean,
where
what do you want to know
should
about them? Or are we talking just from like a purely combat perspective? From a
yeah, like swords, like in the sense that where did they originate? As far as like big swords, like
sword? Okay,
Colosseum days.
swords and any variation of dumpling are two things that you can't really like pin because they exist throughout all of human culture. We figured out how to fry dough, and we figured out how to make a stick sharp to stab people with it. If you want to be particular, you can go down to different designs and how they were used. Like in an area with no metal, you can usually find those really cool. I forget where they're from. I want to say they're a Hawaiian invention. You can find like the paddled swords that have like the ridged teeth or barbs on them. You would also be able to find the actually I think it's flint. You would also be able to find something like a sword shape can tell you a bit about it. That there's a couple of non-combat swords like the executioner sword, which is a long broadsword with a blunt tip designed to be used before the invention of the guillotine. If someone was to have their head cut off, normally they'd use an axe. However, as an act of mercy, usually to the nobility, they would use an executioner sword because a death by sword is a more noble death because it's a sword, which kind of goes in with the European longsword, which is like your standard kind of fight weapon, though that was kind of more overshadowed by like spears and maces. Swords were always kind of like sidearm weapons, kind of that's actually incredibly prevalent in like feudal era Japan, where it was mainly spears and clubs, more so longbows, and actually guns. That's the thing. If you're going to take one thing away from the sword related rant, ancient Japan liked guns. Like that is
really. Oh, I didn't know that.
Over. But no, the katana was, as much as it was like a dueling weapon and like an honor thing, they were mainly peasant killers. Like that's where they shine. That was like if you got to go sack a village, you bring that. You're fighting someone on your own rank, bring a spear.
Yeah, well, on one of our previous episodes, I had two military trained people. I had Keone and Will with me, and they were talking about the fact that they would rather have a gunshot. Like if they were going to get injured, they'd rather like be shot by a gun than a sword or a knife. Like
oh,
that.
Hell yeah. No, that's you know why bayonets are shaped that way, right? Why they have the sword triangle thing?
I do not.
All right, real quick, just imagine, similar to the gunshot, imagine that you got poked with a bayonet. That is a triangle shaped hole in you.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to sew a triangle shut?
Crazy.
Not fun.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's
interesting.
Interesting, right? Yeah, there's a lot to it. A lot to it. So I have also, what about that you guys use tomahawks? Tomahawk, am I saying it right? Tomahawks?
Yeah, tomahawk.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So tomahawks, so those were shown in movies like Last of the Mohicans, The Patriot, I think, had a tomahawk. So I don't know if any other movies were using tomahawks, but you guys were very comfortable with that. And I want to show one final clip, if I can find this. And I want to ask you, Isabella, when you watch this clip, what you were thinking when you saw these two going at it, because you had a lot of emotion and
Who the hell are you?
Who the hell are you? I got one of those too, kid.
The movement of your weapons as Jesse and Maria conduct their battle. Tomahawks are seen in movies such as The Prey, Parasite, The Reverend, Cowboys and Aliens, The Last of the Mohicans, and more. They are used for throwing, and they are very popular hard to control, and you need to have a lot of special training, as these two actors do. They have both studied many, many years of martial arts. Unlike myself, who studied a little bit of martial arts, and I've been a dancer for over 30 years. There's Isabella in the background, another dancer as well. All right, so
A lot of spitting going on there.
well, I was so impressed by this whole scene, and when I played it back, like I said before, I was so impressed watching you and Jesse and hearing the air move, and the commitment, like, to using the whole body. Just, I love it. So tell me, Isabella, what were you thinking? You and you on the sidelines there.
So kind of like, again, like I said before, I was very surprised. I didn't expect all of that to happen. And I really think a lot of it kind of embodies, like, it's not only just like the body doing it, it's also the minds and like the voice and everything that comes out of it. And it's very interesting. And I totally wasn't expecting all that. And I really didn't know, like, everyone was so capable of doing all that. But I guess you never know when the camera starts. So,
well, that's the cool thing. That's why I was so excited when first when I watched some of the raw footage, I was like, oh. And then when I watched the final thing, I mean, certain clips I was so impressed by, like I said, and then I was a little worried about some other things, which I'll talk about after the show's released. But the training that goes into it, like the training and the research and the history and the respect for the art form. And this is what I've come to learn talking to people in the military and things like that, whether whether I'm against violence or for, most people are against violence. I think it doesn't matter if you're in the military or you're,
right.
Or you're not, or whatever it is. Most people, I think, are against violence, but it's just the history and the surroundings and the situation that you find yourself in.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, go ahead.
I think a lot of the times, like you were saying, even in like the military, like a lot of people they don't want to do it, but you have to as a form of survival. In this case is what happened, so even though you two are related, well, sort of, or you still have some kind of mutual connection, you still have to, there's circumstances and you just still have to, fight.
Absolutely.
And it's just instinct, like Maria was saying before. It just kind of comes, even if you least expect it.
Yeah, absolutely. And a little bit about hybrid hazards is we are actually, you two, all four of us, are infected with a gene that that we can't get rid of, and we're looking for a cure.
Right.
And I also want to say that it was so great to work with all of you, because I felt like I didn't really have to do anything other than, as an actor, live in reaction. And that was really great. Like Maria, when you were, telling me to get out. I was like, I don't really like, I just have to react to her because you were so good. And I showed a few people that know you the footage, and they were like, wow, she's really good. I want you to know that. I mean, all of you. It was really, truly an honor to work with all of you, and I look forward to doing it again. So any last comments from any of you? Anything on working on hybrid hazards, or any other weapon insights you'd like to give us?
Well, sorry.
That's okay. No, Maria, you go first.
Go ahead. Maria, Jesse, then Isabel.
Teaching you some stick techniques.
You want to teach me stick? I need stick techniques because
stick work. Yeah.
Yes, please. For the next one, because we have a showdown coming.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going back to your house. Just
okay, that's right.
Spoiler alert! I'm coming back.
Coming back with knowledge on how to use 2 sticks.
Oh, I've used the 2 short swords, but that was again completely choreographed, unlike what we did.
Yeah.
So, Jesse, any last words?
I've got nothing. I've done too many weapon rants for a day. I'm sure if you gave me a topic, you could prod one more out, but for the sake of brevity, nope, I'm good.
Tomahawks. What do they actually do? Tomahawk.
I'm not gonna lie. My use of tomahawks are, to bring that word in again, are entirely anachronistic. As I'm going to see if I can find it. This was actually created for a friend to use, but this, you can see that it's a. I found this file online. It was printed by me. It's a sort of sci-fi type.
You printed that?
Yeah, that was 3D printed because
Yeah.
I do I'm into all sorts of sort of reenactment, or less reenactment, more just war games and stuff. So I do airsoft, which is more modern. So my use of the tomahawk is entirely anachronistic, where it's like, oh shoot, primary's down, throw something at them, or I'm in too close a distance that this will actually hurt someone. I'm just gonna them on the head,
Right.
and that counts the same as just a kill, and it's a lot more gentle.
Yes, please.
Cool. I like to use, obviously I don't play around with live blades, even though like I have them always, but I have some wooden ones that were hand carved by a martial artist Marinus, who teaches and taught years ago Arnis and Pananandata, Filipino martial arts. And then I got this from a workshop that I did with him. And then
cool.
My tomahawk looks a little different because it doesn't have the other end to it. But that too was fabricated by someone up in Vermont, another martial artist, Peter Friedman. And it's made out of heavy plastic, but it's so cool because you could 3D print them, like you said. So, like Jesse said, wow. They're just fun to play with.
They are.
Isabella, any last words?
I'm not sure if I have too much else to say about the weapons or the fighting, but I do want to say that I love how the film kind of intertwines a lot of different themes actually, and different aspects going on. So we didn't just have, the fighting and the anger and everything between the 2 parties really. And then it kind of had Jesse and I coming together a little bit on the sidelines, which people weren't expecting. Especially from the first film, I was kind of just, I was there just kind of helping out and everything. Yeah. With Julia, because she is my cousin, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I was kind of just supporting there. And then for this one, I kind of just came out a little bit, and then, kind of got in contact with Jesse, and then we kind of started a little thing, which is kind of just brewing. So I think that's also interesting.
Not too many.
Yes, I know.
Don't tell Alexis. No. But yeah, it was a great scene. It was a great scene between the 2 of you. I am so proud of the both of you. I've had the opportunity to teach both of you and watch you grow. So when I watched that, I was like, oh my God. Yeah, it was great.
But I do think that the film really just like nicely combined a whole different bunch of aspects going on. And then we all just kind of meet in the middle somewhere, you know? If that makes sense or not, but
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it was nice to see all of you. Until next time. See you guys next time.